as well. I just like, I actually have all the original consoles, and they work somewhat, but you know, they require loving touch, and plus they require really old TVs, so that's, I guess, the first thing. Oh, and before Blizzard yells at me, I don't have WCS 2.0.
Oh no!
Oh, then we're banned from Twitch, and we're all dead
it's
later.
Mandatory ZombieGrub, the handbooks.
I'm sorry. It was also mandatory in IEM, and I forgot there too. So, just a rebel.
You cannot be controlled. You're a wild person.
I am. Yes, I am.
Oh my god.
Well, we'll use the superior, the totally inferior game heart for now. In the bottom right, we finally have a match here. It is the Red Terran, Infinity Gaming's future.
And in the top left, his first victim. Opponent here. In the top left, the blue Zerg. This is Prevail.
He was on Rise Esports.
Yeah, good old Rise.
Yeah.
It's a very big team. Very big team.
Yes.
I love my webcam position, by the way. I'm covering part of Twitch chat, so take that chat, haha.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've already established that ZombieGrub actually doesn't care about anything. She's that person with the leather jacket. She smokes around the corner at high school. You know, goes out on weekends, goes to parties while everyone else is studying because they're only 14. You know, she's that person. She's an absolute wild child.
Yeah, that was me. Not someone who only ever went to parties because of esports. Esports didn't make me cool, guys.
No, since esports though, you've gone completely wild. You're off the chain. This overlay, and not following the handbook. I mean, I'm pretty sure my lower third, which was graphics that were always also provided by Blizzard, are also not here. Damn.
That wasn't mandatory, excuse you.
You are unchained. That is true, it's not mandatory.
I did make one for myself, and I was like, when am I ever going to use this? Like, I have to make like a Stream Deck button for it so it doesn't just stay up on the time. Like, I'm not going to do that.
I actually, you know, I don't have Photoshop license, but my wife does, because she does a lot of graphic design stuff, and she has for a really long time. So I actually grabbed that lower third, logged onto her computer, and edited the thing to make it, you know, a Maynard nameplate, because I wasn't intending to stream it today. And then when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, this kind of looks not very good, because everything else in my overlay is kind of janky and it's too clean and professional. So it doesn't match. And if it's not doing that funny, like if it's not doing that sexy animation stuff, you know how it always animates when you're watching an actual WCS like live event or challenger or something like that. It looks really nice, but on my channel, woo,
not so good.
Oh, this Reaper finding a fair bit of damage here. That's a good first Reaper from Future. Two kills, drone, Ling, and then it just pieces on out.
It actually got 2 drones, I'm pretty sure.
No, check the units
right.
lost. 1 drone, 1 Ling.
Oh, so it's just the drone that he blocked. So that's so cool though, because that was the highlight one for me. So he blocked it from making a spore crawler with a grenade.
I see my New Year's resolution is to get better at casting, and a lot of that has to do with checking the units lost before I say what's being killed. And also checking the structures tab before I claim they had some sort of tech. This is all like stuff that's gone wrong for Maynard over the last year.
Well, it's harder when you're on a WCS broadcast because you have to say it out loud for the observer to check. And we usually don't have or sometimes they don't have observer PCs. I guess they've been better about that. Yeah. But you might not be the one controlling it. It might be me controlling it. And you're just like trying to nudge me and be like, let me take the code. Give me the mouse. Like, give me the keyboard. And I'm like, no, I want to stop it. You know.
The wild caster in control.
Exactly.
The Reaper's still alive here, heading to the main base. It's going to regenerate some hit points before it gets out of there as well. The Lings will have to help out.
Oh my god.
Unless he stutter steps a little too hard. How is this thing alive? And it's Kairos Junction, so it has the ledge to escape.
Oh my gosh. This is a great Reaper. Meanwhile, Overlord gets in here and does some scouting, but it is going to lose its life for it. It scouts the Banshees. That's great.
It's a supply block.
But yeah, that's a supply block. That's a pretty hefty supply block. Prevail getting probably really thrown off by this Reaper. It hasn't actually done much, but we pretty much guarantee that his build's messed up.
And we do have to take a step back and look at this series as a complete package here. Future is the Chiefs Belfort champion. He's like an up-and-coming new blood NA player. This kid is absolutely insane. I expect him to do some pretty amazing things in 2019. You know, maybe not winning tournaments, but getting pretty deep. And he is up against Prevail, who we mostly don't know too well. So it's not surprising to see Future get a fair bit of damage done, you know, in the early game. There's a Bailey Nest and a bunch of Lings coming out here for Prevail, which will help against the Hellions, but this Banshee has some free reign at his third base, and Cloak is researched.
Yeah. Free reign, entirely. But the natural has double spores, so it's not exactly how you make up for it. I think one of them was probably supposed to be a canceled drone, if I had to guess.
Yeah, but now we can actually, thanks to the Zerg mechanic of being able to unburrow and reburrow things, put that spore crawler somewhere useful, like the third base, where a queen's getting wailed on.
Exactly. Things are not looking so good for Prevail. Meanwhile, Future just getting his macro done nice and neat. Queen, I don't know where she's trying to run to. Double Engineering Bay, third CC. He is going into bio. His Hellions are still alive. His Banshees are still alive. And he's probably feeling very confident in this first series. But guys, we didn't choose this because we think Future is the best and we're Terran biased. Well, maybe a little bit of that. But because the next round match is most likely going to be Future versus Juggernaut Jason. I'm not sure who Juggernaut Jason's opponent is, but Jason is high GM on an A.
Yeah,
it's
he's
a
like
high
6'3",
GM, so
6'2", or something.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's why I'm assuming it's going to happen, and that'll be more of a challenge, I think, for Future, even though Future might just be able to take a 2-0 there, too.
I mean, Future definitely I'd say, you know, a lot stronger than Juggernaut Jason, but I actually, you know, I follow Jason on Twitter. I like the guy quite a bit, watch his stream. He's been going full tryhard here. He's gonna put in a lot of attention and time and effort into playing. So I hope that equals some good series. Yeah. See, the Banshees are getting cleaned up and the Hellions get cleaned up there. And I would say that that's normally pretty devastating for the Terran to lose that map control. But the Zerg has already been pretty, I guess, slowed down by the Terran already. And there's a bunch of Lings here. Does Future have enough to be able to handle a counterattack? He's got 20 Marines, 1 siege tank. The third seems pretty open. A lot of these Lings are actually going past the Marines here, so a few of them die for free.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to do too much. Prevail could just keep them off to the left side, which actually Future is going to check or actually go through, so never mind about that. But he could roundabout, you know, go through here again and maybe catch Future off guard, but now Prevail has to worry about what could be a killing blow. Baneling speed has only just started, no upgrades for the Zerg player here, and not a lot of creep spread, so easy cleanup. Oh, actually would have missed 1 creep tumor, but it seems like he doesn't need to clean up the creep spread. Okay, maybe just wins here.
Yeah, I mean, these are 1-1 Marines, and like you mentioned, Baneling speed is not done, and there's not even that many Banelings. The amount of Zerg units just isn't here to get the job done, unfortunately. Especially with someone like Future with the control, you know, he doesn't have a pig disadvantage or anything like that. We're on the NMA server. So he's just going to start a step back here, probably target fire those Banes. There he goes with that siege tank. And the Marines can actually do the rest here.
Yeah. That would have been a decent cleanup if there was 20 extra Lings, 10 extra Banelings. You know, Baneling speed would have helped obviously too, but as it is, Future could even get out of here with at least 1 medevacs full of Marines. He's going to set herself off of that creep and surprisingly not pick up. Really surprisingly. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, if this was me, I'd try and target fire those Banes for a bit of practice, but this is actually WCS qualifiers, and I think that probably wouldn't be a good option. Hey, and SCVs come with the fight.
Hey, you can repair the tank when it loads back in medevac.
Right.
Strats,
pretty
man.
sure that's not delivered by Future, but hey, you know, he can afford to make some mistakes here. He's pretty far ahead. The Lings do surround that tank, and they might get it. There, they will get it. But, I mean, he's just losing Banelings that he can't really lose. You see, he's really, really far and down in supply right now. We got a 3-base Zerg against the Terran that's about to have 4 bases. Future's got 2-2 on the way. There's just +1 Carapace here for the Zerg, so things are going to really spiral out of control, even though he is holding on.
Yeah. He's holding on. That is true. Covering 3 bases is easier than what you should have, which is a 4th that barely doesn't have any creep spread. But that creep spread is running low even on just 3 bases, and Future is eventually going to have a maxed out army to Prevail's maybe 120. Maybe not even that.
I mean, Prevail is technically alive in the same way that a tree is. But I wouldn't trust a tree to drive me to the supermarket. You know, it's not exactly firing on all cylinders. But, you know, Future is just super far ahead. He could A-move with everything and just win the game here, but he's being careful and respecting his opponent, which I like a lot.
Yeah. Now this is a bit more of an A-move. Caster Curse. As soon as you said it. But he still has enough Marines left over after tanking to the face like four Banelings. Good lord.
Yeah. He's got a very big army supply lead, like almost 70 supply, which is almost unheard of in this matchup. Generally, Terran has more army supply, but this is like double, almost triple what you expect, just because of these trades. 2-2 still very close to being done here for Future. Prevail still prevailing, trying to hold on, but There is... This is on a clock here. His time will run out.
GG.
We did it.
We
WCS has
did it.
begun. We have cast a game of StarCraft.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's... I don't even know. Just gonna...
Jason won on forfeit?
Yeah, apparently his opponent didn't show up.
Oh.
Or couldn't show up. Either one.
All right, well, I guess he's waiting for the winner of Future Prevail then.
Exactly. So we can easily get into a second series. It's awesome. Oh, checking out Jason's here. Watching his could-be opponent, most likely going to be Future, who is a fantastic person purely because he uses game heart when he makes lobbies. Really appreciate it.
That is actually a way to get a caster's heart.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of ways as a player to get a caster's heart, like show up to their stream, give them feedback, be cool to them at events. Another way is to just, when they're casting tournaments, host them game heart.
Especially with the WCS qualifiers, because, or the American qualifiers, because I could make the lobbies, but then I'd have to be like, well, what server are you? And like, okay, I have to make sure to put my server on the server that you guys want. Having 3 servers, because those are large countries, stupid. 4 servers if you count Australia.
What about Brazil?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a lot of servers for America.
And Singapore.
God. You know, I don't notice nearly as much, honestly, and this is just the meme that I go with because Nate complains about it so often. But he does it so well. He complains about it so well, guys. But I almost never notice.
He's a good complainer.
Yeah. Well, he douses it up, man. Like, you know, it's great when he put his overlay upside down, or he put his camera upside down, or both. I don't remember.
Yeah. That was great. I actually love that. Like, I'm one of those people that's like, I'm kind of like, just suck it up because I played on 150 plus MS for 5 years. So I really, you know, it's like when people tell me, God, I had a long flight, man. I'm like, oh yeah, tell me all about it. You know, as an Australian playing online video games, I'm like, yeah, tell me all about your server lag, sure. But so I'm on that, like, please suck it up side of the fence, but you're right. He complains so well that I can't help but just smile and enjoy what he has to say.
There you go.
I also just love a person that's just got a good rant in them. Someone that can rant really well.
Yeah. So you love In Control?
Oh, I love In Control. His rants, I want, like, when they're going overboard and they're dialed up to 11, I want to see it go to 12. Like, I just want the rant to go super deep. I don't want it to ever end. I'm like, please don't interrupt him.
I actually kind of love, like, I don't catch it too often. I'll stop by his stream at the right moments, I suppose. But sometimes I know in the past, because I watched his stream before. I mean, when he was on EG, when he was so pro gamer, right? Like, for years. So I've seen a couple of these instances, but I love him where he, like, dials it up, and he's like intentionally being over the top, and it's just funny. And hopefully, if the guy he's berating has a good sense of humor, that everyone just goes off on their day and it's all fine.
Yeah,
but like,
they need to have a good sense of humor.
Yeah, but when he does it, and then they're like, oh, like, I think he meant X, or the guy says, like, I meant this or that, and In Control's like, oh, oops. All right, that was my bad. Sorry, dude. Like,
well, that's the other fun thing is when someone's ranting and they're wrong, you just let them go deep. Let them dig that hole. It's great.
Yeah.
Love a good rant.
Okay, we are on Port Alexander. And the top left, up 1, it is Future.
Yeah, representing Infinity Gaming. Some great players on that team. In the bottom right here, also on a team with a lot of great players. This is Prevail.
A lot of players from all over the leagues, really. I face enough Rise players in my league. I don't know if you do in yours.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I face Rise players all the time. I face players from Team All In, who have players all over the you know, the ladder as well, like all the way up to GM. I face players from, like, Born Gosu. They have players all the way up to GM, I think, or High Masters.
You might be right, yeah.
I'm playing Masters players these days, and they give me a hard time. I'm not quite there yet.
Damn Masters players.
They're Masters players, and you're one of them, so don't even.
They're try hard, but they're not GM, so they're not try hard enough.
Yeah, you sit there.
Just make fun of them all the time.
You're like one half glass of champagne away from making a barcode account. Do I need a barcode account? Is this how I get to GM?
Oh my god, that's gonna be...
No, ZombieGrub.
I mean, that might just be what pushes me over the edge, man. I mean, people know my strats by now.
Just a few glasses of whiskey, you're like, you know what? I need a barcode. I'm like, no, not another one.
Yeah, well, it's cool that we have big clans, though. I mean, as someone who I think a lot of people actually, but my personal experience was joining a clan and then another one and then another one, and then I joined like a team that was actually like fairly decent. That's where I knew Need before any of y'all. Hipster time.
Yeah, back when he was a Terran.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, you know, it's something that I guess naturally we just fall out of. You know, as became professional for me, other people stopped playing StarCraft a lot, so it's hard not to keep in touch. So it kind of seems sometimes, right? Like if I didn't keep in mind that I was facing all these guys with similar clan tags, I think I would have been on the like, oh, is it really even a thing anymore? And then I'm like, no, actually, like there's like this many guys in this clan, and there's even like Reddit threads that still pop up every now and again asking for applications. So, and that's like really good. It might not seem like a big deal, especially if it's a clan of like 100 people, but it actually is. StarCraft 2 is a lonely experience otherwise.
No, you're absolutely right. And one of the things that really reset my opinion on clans and the health of, you know, teams like that, or I guess clans like that on the ladder, was I got a small shout out to something that I cast with Pig every now and then, which is the CTL, Turbo Team League. And every time I see that, there's just hundreds of people. I mean, Pig has thousands of viewers, but there's hundreds of people there that are actually watching that are players as well. Like they have big teams all the way up to the leagues, and they're really, really welcoming. And they're like, we just want to practice together. We just want to have a good time together. Like we're all, you know, we ladder together. We're in a chat room, and when we ladder, we're on Discord calls together. Like that's a really cool way to play StarCraft and have it feel like almost like a team game in a way. You know?
It was
which motivates you to keep playing.
It's my favorite part about being on a team was like going to the team wars, you know, clan wars, and
oh yeah, clan war really. That's the other thing is nothing motivates you more to practice than being on a team that's about to fight someone else and you're on the squad. You know, like you're one of the players.
Yeah,
because you don't want to let them down. You know, so you practice really hard.
Yeah, I'm being on that Discord. I mean, that's actually shout out to Future as we watch him just peruse around here with the Hellion. That his stream included some of those, just like he's on Discord with a bunch of other NA players, and they talk. So it can be a little noisy if you're watching the stream, but it's a cool experience.
I mean, they all have like $20 microphones. You know, the audio qualities. I would define it as Korean audio quality, but it's a good time. He's a very entertaining streamer.
Yeah,
I'm a sub myself. So Future kind of like forced Prevail's hand to take this triangle expansion pattern rather than the along the edge pattern here because of his engineering bay block that we saw earlier. This Overlord, once again, from Prevail, is going to scout what's going on in Future's main, but this time he's not going to get supply blocked by it, at least. He can continue to produce a little bit. He's getting Spore Crawlers up as he sees the Starport. Starport doesn't have an add-on, but it is still necessary to help out against these Liberators, seems to be what Future's going for here. Wow, this is greedy with these Hellions. Going past the Creep Streamers. Looking at that drone line.
It is very greedy. The Queens are, you know, they don't do a lot of damage very quickly, but they're getting a lot of shots in before the Hellions actually get into the drone line. So, I mean, it's still kind of mission accomplished, but now losing, not losing, just kidding. Not losing his Queens and not losing many drones. Prevail's having a much stronger start to this game. Probably a lot because he wasn't so offset by that Reaper.
This Queen's a little bit late to respond to the Liberator, which is still alive and went into the main base. Prevail perhaps looking out elsewhere. Very, very late on that drone pool. Does lose another handful there, so half a dozen in total. So Future is once again ahead on workers, which is a little bit, you know, a little bit rough for a Zerg at this point in the game, especially if they're closely matched. But yeah, this Liberator's just dancing around this Queen here and may kill it if he doesn't respond. Yeah, he does. Okay, so this Liberator's absolutely putting in a lot of pain on Prevail right now.
That is unfortunate. You know, the Hellions were a little clutch. It got a little scary, but one Liberator doing this much damage, not what's really supposed to be happening. Some part of that might be the creep spread lacking between the bases, but it's actually just the Queens not responding that quickly, of which Prevail doesn't really have any extra to begin with and is only at like 1 extra now. So things are starting in a little of that dire situation where I think once again we had Prevail, you know, probably knows what to do, but it's more of a question of like, is he bothered while he's doing it? Which is a lot of people's problems until they get really, 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 really good. So everything goes smoothly, and then suddenly a Liberator gets 8 drones, lots of lost mining time, lacks a Queen, misses his layer timing, you know, suddenly it really starts to snowball.
Certainly. I mean, that Liberator was, to talk about the amount of damage it did, it was absolutely more than worth its weight and resources there for Future. The Hellions were actually not super great, but they did distract You know, and one of my favorite things that Nero's ever said on stream, I can't remember where he said it, but is that attention is a resource. And if you can take the attention of your opponent away, then that's, you know, an unmonitored resource in this game for the most part. So that Liberator found a big opening, got a lot of drones killed a queen, and even killed a bunch of lava, which is the production of the Zerg. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a very concise way of putting it. He's away with words, that Nero.
He is. Oopsie daisies.
Yeah. There's a target firing top his own Marines. They don't have combat shields. So that was a little scary.
Ooh, speaking of lack of combat shield, that Prevail actually gets a nice connection there, killing a lot of those Marines. Prevail might be able to hold here, just with the, you know, some of the Lings and Banes left over and these 2 Queens. The Marines don't have 1-1 yet, although it's about to finish in a couple seconds.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna hold. It wasn't the prettiest hold. He definitely could have saved those last few Banelings and just like let bygones be bygones. Once you push the tanks back up the ramp, you actually aren't in danger. You know, like your cube spread can kind of still go northwards and your hatcheries aren't on fire, and yeah, just wait for more Lings and clean that up. But it is a hold. We got some equal upgrades here as Prevail is rather quick, nicely quick to his 2-2 and typical hooks, but Future is already rallying more forward. His combat shields is finally done. 30C has been saturated for a while. Even a cool little wall here. Don't see that too often.
I see that every day. Yeah. I actually forget to supply depot wall in. You know, it actually is so powerful in this map, especially considering that's like high ground there. And if Zerg just floods on in, you usually like, oh, here they are, once they're attacking your SCVs.
Yeah.
So it's good to have something to block them off or spot in the high ground, either or. So target fire from Future on these Banelings, very, very nice. Gets rid of a lot of them. The Lings against these Marines are not going to do well if those Banelings are gone. They bleed through and get 3 Marines here, and maybe there's enough Marines for another scan and a little bit more damage on the space, but the tanks are gone at least. And also, Prevail's doing a lot better job with his upgrades this game. He is, however, even though he's doing better than Game 1, playing from pretty far behind here. Future with a very solid lead in army supply and in workers.
No 4th base quite yet, so also no macro hatchery. Eventually, if he was up to the workers he would want to be at, so more like 60, 65, and then slowly going up to 70 even once he's pushed everything back. It's actually not going to be that much of an issue. So Prevail knows he needs more drones. That 3rd base not being saturated is a really bad sign. He needs more creep spread too, and again, only 1 extra queen to try and help out there. It's not going to go too fast. In Future, while his tanks are being demolished in these fights, he went into a very fast 2nd factory before his extra barracks, in fact. So those are pretty easy to replace. They're going to be a steady stream of not just Marines, but also 2 tanks at a time. It's going to be hard to stop this, again, snowball effect for Prevail, especially without creep spread.
Yeah, he is spiraling out of control here. And Prevail is not being able to keep up with the production, unfortunately, of the Terran here. Future's just, you know, macroing suit too well and controlling these, trading too well in these fights. The Zerg has been forced to use all their lava on units rather than drones. You can see the drone count really not where he wants to be right now. 59 with the 4th base still on the way. This macro has really been slipping just because of the amount of pressure the Future's been putting on. And these Banelings bleeding off there. 3 Banelings on their own, not going to get too much done here. There's not a ton of Marines, but again, like we just saw Future's main with the amount of production he has, he can absolutely reinforce his position and just continue to rally across the map here.
His 4th base is turning into a planetary right now. That's, oof. Ow, Prevail's building his 4th base, and it's not going to be his new 3rd as he evacuates his 3rd. No creep spread to rely on anymore, and just too much to hold on to. He's going to try and go for a Baneling bust on this wall, and he might even grab the +1 armor, which is a little surprising to see. It's almost like he's getting used to... Oh, that wasn't a wall.
Oh, it wasn't a wall in.
Okay, well. So it completes at least.
I mean, you know, he finds a little bit of damage there. It's good to see Prevail get across the map and put some damage on, but he is up against a Terran that's 80 supply ahead of him, and this is going to be a rough one. Coming in the Banelings from the back, but yeah, this target fire is too good.
Yeah, that was a good idea. It was a really good idea to come from behind. And if there was creep spread, I might have gotten some better connections.